So we're talking about Brazilian Jiu Jitsu for self-defense. So what do you think, Ben?
Oh man, I've got to start all over again.
Yeah, you do.
I think that there's a difference between self-defense and Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. I think they get mixed up. I think that it's become more about sport for Brazilian Jiu Jitsu rather than the focus on self-defense. That being said, I think it gives people the confidence to feel they can defend themselves.
Yes. Is that dangerous potentially? Like overconfident? Because you can roll in the class and you can beat everyone
On the mats.
No one's biting you or poking your eyes out or really trying to hurt you.
Or you're on a uneven terrain where you've got like boulders and
everyone's
cars
playing your rules.
Yeah.
Or multiple attackers.
But then you see a lot of these videos where these kids are like got attacked by a mate and the next thing you know he's choking them out of a triangle.
Yeah.
So
but often those videos are like, they're obviously street fights, but they're street fights where there's an agreement of the rules because everyone else watching isn't getting involved. And
yeah, and that's the other thing. Like multiple attackers, that doesn't happen in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu.
No, it's shit for that.
So Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, I think, is really a sport that has elements that can help people become better at self-defense. I think people get this mixed up actually. Like, you've been doing it a long time, I've been doing it a long time. How many times can you honestly say you've had to use your skill sets for self-defense?
Once.
Yeah, me too, once. Right? Because we're not necessarily getting into fights and stuff, so statistically speaking, people are learning self-defense, but in reality they're very unlikely to use it for self-defense. Am I wrong in saying that? I don't think I am.
I think there's more value to it than self-defense. And I think if you're in a different country, a different situation where it comes up more often, maybe in the rough parts of Brazil and favelas and stuff, you need a little bit more physical ability. Just to get by.
You're not going to go to the beach and call someone up, are you?
No.
Well, you and I wouldn't necessarily.
Here's like, and then other martial arts we had Taekwondo that started out as this killer martial art and then turned into this odd sport of hands down flicking feet at each other.
Where you turn your arms to them, they can't hit you anymore.
But I said to our instructor, I said, you know, when berimbolos were a thing, and I was like, it seems, I think there is a video of someone doing it in an MMA fight, but generally, I can't imagine anyone in MMA or self-defense like having berimbolos as a game. You're essentially exposing your ass to someone, right?
Yeah.
Ibanari may be different, but certainly a slow berimbolo. And he said, well, if you're the Mendes brothers and you're spending 6 hours a day drilling berimbolos, but also the other basics that go with it, just arm bars and rear naked chokes and shit. It's like, do you think those guys can fight? And it's like, yeah, of course they can fight, right? But they're still doing a sport. Like a boxer doesn't worry about leg kicks. But if they get in a fight, they're still going to be allowed to throw a heavy punch, right? And then maybe a lot of what they learn, like footwork and cage and ring craft or whatever, becomes irrelevant. But then a lot of the stuff is still relevant. There's still a crossover.
Yeah. I think the difference is that they're more conditioned to be in points of adversity in their mind. Whereas I think most people that don't do self-defense don't have that exposure to that kind of uncomfortable pressure and with someone hitting you. I mean, like self-defense courses are kind of a bit of a bizarre thing really, because people go to these courses saying they've done a self-defense course thinking they can defend themselves, when in reality they've never really been hit before, they've never been hit multiple times, and they've never had that exposure of their brains shutting down to the sort of two primal functions of fight or flight. You know, adrenal stress is a big problem, and you know, armies spent millions upon millions of pounds to, you know, looking at adrenal stress and the effects on the mind and the body. So,
and I've seen Brazilian Jiu Jitsu black belts get a little knock from an elbow or knee, like an accidental knock, and look like a football player that's been tackled, like
yeah.
And it's part of your training is you have to be exposed to, like if you hit a boxer, even if you crack them, they don't panic. There's like they stay calm, controlled. Like they've done it so many times, they don't have that same fight-flight reflex. Whereas sometimes jiu-jitsu people, that are just straight jiu-jitsu people, they have this overreaction when they get knocked or hit because they're not used to it.
Yeah. So I think in essence what we're saying is that self-defense is not just about the discipline or the system that you're studying. It's about being used to that mind conditioning. And I think that's where even self-defense courses go wrong. They don't condition people's ability to be able to function under stress.
Well, I think Brazilian Jiu Jitsu is one of the better martial arts for self-defense because you are exposed to people coming at you 100%, which you don't within the rule set, which you don't get that in, especially kind of points fighting or some martial arts, Aikido or whatever. They never spar because it's too dangerous, right? So when someone actually comes at you, then you got the pressure of it. They can't perform.
But then, you saying about Aikido and stuff like that, saying they don't spar because it's too dangerous. But don't you think that Brazilian Jiu Jitsu is kind of taking that avenue with leg locks? Like, how many clubs do you know who say no, don't do leg locks here?
Yeah.
Because they're using that aspect of it's too dangerous to do that.
Because if it's dangerous, doesn't mean it works. Doesn't mean it's effective. You know, like there's a lot of jiu-jitsu is dangerous. Kimuras are dangerous, and you guillotine someone. What are you doing? You're just neck cranking them most of the time, right? Like a lot of it's dangerous, but like effective is good. But then I think the leg lock thing is more because they want to encourage you to pass guard, and there's a kind of philosophy behind it. But my broader point is I've done martial arts maybe 15, 20 years, right? So have you. I don't think martial arts for self-defense is the way to worry. If you're in a nice Western country where the kind of situations we're talking about don't come up.
Yeah, where you're not learning how to use a gun or an RPG to sort of kill half a dozen people. Yeah, that's not where it goes.
Self-defense is don't go down the dark alleyway. Don't I'm boring. Don't go to nightclubs, right? How every fight ever is outside a nightclub because people get drunk and then their inhibition's lower and they get testosterone spike from alcohol and they get violent. It's like if you're not there, you can't get in a fight. If you don't hang around with the kind of people
that are looking to fight.
Yeah, and I don't think doing martial arts for self-defense is good. Why do people do martial arts, right? Because they don't want to be hurt by someone, right? They don't want to be someone to impose on them physically and hurt them. Right? If you do martial arts and get to blue belt jiu-jitsu, right? 2 years.
Yeah.
How many times have you been hurt? A few.
Loads.
Yeah. So you did martial arts because you didn't want to get hurt, and then you did martial arts and got hurt.
That's irony for you.
Yeah, you're gonna get tweaks. You're gonna get a sore neck. And then if you get to black belt, every black belt has had surgery.
Yeah.
Not apart from Roger, but nearly everyone. And if they haven't, they've certainly had injuries where they had to have physio and time off. And then you go, okay, I don't want someone to be able to take my property, right? Mug me, steal from me, whatever, right? So you go, okay, if you get mugged, how much money is in your wallet? I think there's about 70 quid in my wallet right now, plus my cards, right?
Dude, you got more than me.
Right. But there's 70 quid. So I pay 56 quid a month for my Brazilian Jiu Jitsu lessons, right? So that's £600 a year. To get to black belt, you're talking 10 years, right? So that's £6,000. So I spent £6,000 to avoid being mugged for 60 quid.
I like that analogy.
It's why? I'm not saying don't do martial.
The phone.
I'm gonna edit it out. It's alright.
You reckon?
It's got quiet. No. Ben does sex phone calls. Double up. We're back. So I think. I'm not saying don't do martial arts because I love martial arts and that'd be mad, but I've got personal discipline out of it. I've got satisfaction. I've got goal setting. I've got fitter, stronger. I think there's so much more to get out of it than worrying about what happens if someone picks something in a street fight.
I think sadly though that the sales pitch is for self-defense. I don't think it's right, but I think I'm with you. Everyone wants me.
It's much quieter in your office. It's quite well.
I can't even switch it off.
It's a red button.
It's time. I reckon you should leave all this shit in. It shows that we're actually normal
blokes.
blokes.
It's real, man. It's real.
It's real. Joe Rogan doesn't have this problem, does he? Do you know? I'd so love his studio.
He's got this gym in it and mat and
so cool.
Porsche at the back and all that shit.
Yeah. Why haven't we got that?
I don't know.
That's because we sell self-defense lessons.
Yeah, this could be it. So what's the conclusion of this video? Is that self-defense is bullshit?
I don't think self-defense it's not bullshit. I think it's sold as I think the way it's sold is bullshit. Self-defense is. Look, I profess that as a skill set, I know something of something. But is that going to stop me from being punched, kicked, put to the floor to a point where I won't be able to defend myself? In answer to the question, it's not going to do jack shit. If someone was, they really wanted to hurt me, they really wanted my stuff. I was reading a case where this poor dude had, his some kids' bikes got stolen, and he was chasing after this teenager. Yeah. And the teenager whopped him with a baseball bat from behind. Didn't even know the teenage boy was there, and he hit the ground and was dead in 2 days. So where's self-defense there?
Or if you beat someone up because you've got in road rage or whatever, and they stalk you on Facebook, find out where you live, and then run you over with their car. Like, well and good being a black belt, what difference does it make?
Nothing. It means nothing.
I'd say the biggest takeaway from martial arts for self-defense is the confidence thing. Because I don't panic if someone's being aggressive or violent towards me, which means I can resolve the situation in a non-violent way.
Or just being a little bit more self-aware of where you're at. Like the bike with the guy with the bikes, was it really necessary for him to go chasing after the kid that had stolen the bikes?
No.
Not really, I suppose.
And maybe if he did martial arts, his ego would have been more in control, and it wouldn't be like, how dare they steal from me? It's like, what does that say about me as a father and a provider? It would have been more, okay, this is the situation, I can deal with this calmly.
Yeah, but I think, like with all of it, that it's just, that's a sad state of affairs with self-defense. It's sold as this thing that will protect you, when in reality, it's not necessarily the truth. And I think that's why self-defense and Brazilian Jiu Jitsu are not two of the same thing, or one of the same thing.
And I would say to any Brazilian Jiu Jitsu person that they feel confident because of their Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, is do a little bit of striking, because there's always this 80% of fights end up on the ground, and it's like,
what about the other 20%?
Yeah, and so 100% of fights are stood up, and if someone punches you, it's very easy to go into a panic state of shock. And there's that thing that if you punch a black belt, they become a brown belt. Punch them again, they become a purple belt. And it's like there's a degree of truth to it, because you're going to panic and it's not what you're used to. So I think just doing a few months of boxing or Thai boxing or something, just so you're used to it.
And not only that, it changes the cardio aspect as well.
Yeah.
Like striking is so much more cardio based. It's not anaerobic like jiu-jitsu is. It's aerobic. So you're suddenly sort of working at a slightly different level. But I agree with what you're saying. I think you're right. So in essence, we're saying the same thing.
Yeah, and as instructors, I like the idea that we put in, you see a lot of the Gracie videos, and they're one person's got boxing gloves, and the other one's going to take them down and do the self-defense drills. But if you train jiu-jitsu twice a week, that instructor's got so much to teach you, all the basic positions and takedowns, and I always throw in a little bit of self-defense at the start, but it's just a little bit of icing on the cake, and I don't have time in the normal class to also teach you to box and do some drills where we're punching each other, especially when there's 100 boxing and Muay Thai and MMA clubs out there that you can go and do that.
Have a strike coach and have a jiu-jitsu coach.
Yeah, and even if you don't like striking, just do a little bit, so you get used to it. And the reverse should be as true as well. There's plenty of boxers that I've trained with that have gone, all right, then try and take me down, and then been shocked, stunned that I can submit them so easily. Yeah,
so quick.
And they had this false thing that they just punch me in the face.
Same with the big bodybuilders.
Yeah.
In fact, you've got a big bodybuilder. Apparently,
I am a big bodybuilder.
Apparently, you're going to bring him onto the videos, aren't you?
You can bring one, the beast.
Yes.
The machine.
Yes.
We'll bring him in.
Bring
Boom.
him.
If you have any other topics that you'd like us to do on these little BJJ chats, let us know, and we will talk through it, give you our opinion.
Yeah. Well, apparently we got trolled about socks, didn't we?
Yeah, you still got them on though. Look at that. Ooh. They're for sale on CKS.
Yeah. Anyway.
Subscribe. We're out.